Today, we're diving into a really personal story. It's about one woman's 11-year relationship, but it's also much more than that. It's a story that uncovers a pattern of abuse that's often hidden in plain sight, something called coercive control. So just imagine this. An 11-year relationship, your whole world is suddenly over, and it ends with these 4 sentences. That's it. No warning, no big fight, just a sudden, brutal discard.
You have to ask, right? How does a love story, more than a decade of life together, just shatter like this? What was really going on behind the scenes that led to such a cold and jarring end? What's so powerful about her story is that by following it, we get a sort of roadmap. We can see how the subtle, sneaky mechanics of coercive control actually work, from what looked like a perfect beginning to a really devastating end. So let's go back to the beginning. Like so many of these stories, this one started out like something from a movie. But as we're about to see, even in those picture-perfect moments, the warning signs were already there. I mean, she was completely swept off her feet. The affection, the attention, it was nonstop. He made her feel like she was the absolute center of his world. And that feeling is intoxicating, but as she'd learn, it can also be a very powerful tactic. And listen to this. This is from her actual journal, just 2 months into the relationship. You can just feel that intensity, right? That feeling of being totally safe, totally adored. Back then, it felt like she had found the perfect partner.
And it turns out there is a clinical term for what she was feeling. It's called love bombing. And this isn't just about a whirlwind romance. It's a known manipulation tactic. It's designed to forge this incredibly strong bond and get you to lower your guard really, really fast.
But here's the thing. Right in the middle of all this perfection, a huge red flag popped up on their very first date. He told her he was a serial adulterer. At the time, she thought, wow, that's incredibly honest. It was only years later that she saw it for what it really was, a massive warning sign, completely drowned out by the love bombing.
But that perfect, idealized beginning, well, it couldn't last forever. Slowly, the dynamics started to change. The mask began to slip, and a very clear pattern of control started to emerge. And then came the moment that changed everything. Years into the relationship, the day after Christmas, of all days, he just calmly confessed he was having an affair. This wasn't just about cheating. It was about completely pulling the rug out from under her, shattering her entire sense of reality. It's a classic abuse tactic. And this is why understanding the term coercive control is so important. We're not talking about one bad fight or a single betrayal. It's the whole pattern of humiliation, of threats, of intimidation that slowly, piece by piece, creates an environment of fear. And you won't believe this, but his own email about the affair is, well, it's something else. He doesn't frame it as a betrayal. No, he says they live in 2 separate worlds. And notice how he tells her to cope with it by distracting yourself. It's just a masterclass in twisting reality and shifting all the blame onto her. And make no mistake, this control wasn't just about feelings or arguments. It started to seep into every single part of her life. He'd put down her business ideas, constantly criticize her career choices, all to chip away at her confidence and make her financially dependent on him. Okay, so you might be thinking, well, at least it's over now. But here's the scary part. For someone who needs control, the breakup isn't the end of the abuse. It's just the beginning of a new chapter.
Just look at the timeline of what happened right after he left. It is pure chaos, and it's all by design. First, he dangles this huge financial offer, but the second she gets some legal advice, poof, the offer is gone, and it's immediately replaced with threats of eviction and ruin. This isn't closure. It's just a new way to control her.
And this right here, this is from a conversation she actually managed to record just a few weeks later. The threat is just chillingly clear. He ties her entire future security to staying on his good side. Just be careful how you tread. The message couldn't be clearer. Cross me and I will destroy you. And yeah, there's a term for this too. It's called post-separation abuse. It's this horrifying reality that for some people, breaking up doesn't stop the abuse. They'll just use new weapons, money, the legal system, whatever they can to keep punishing and controlling their victim. So why are we focusing so much on this one person's story? Well, because it's not just one person's story.
Her traumatic experience shines a bright light on a much, much bigger problem in our society.
I mean, just look at this number. In the UK alone, for the year ending in March 2023, an estimated 2.1 million adults experienced domestic abuse. This isn't some rare, isolated thing. It's a widespread crisis happening all around us.
And her experience points to a really serious problem, a loophole in the system, really. Unmarried couples who live together often don't have the same legal protections as married couples. And that vulnerability is something abusers know how to exploit, making it almost impossible for a victim to leave.
So when you put all the pieces together, you can see the playbook, right? It starts with that intense love bombing. Then, slowly, comes the isolation from friends and family. That's followed by financial control and gaslighting to make you feel like you're the crazy one. All of it is held together by intimidation and a constant stream of criticism that just grinds down your self-worth. Seeing that pattern is the first step to breaking it.
Which really brings us to the toughest question of all. This story shows us how easily abuse can hide behind words like love or concern. The most insidious control is the kind you don't even recognize. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What have you been taught to accept as normal?